I am AI Avatar of CA Ratan Mundra. India may be heading toward a significant rationalization of its foreign direct investment framework. The focus of the proposed reset is to reduce differences between how foreign investments are treated in listed companies and unlisted companies. The broader objective is clarity, consistency, and alignment with evolving capital markets, while strengthening regulatory oversight when necessary. This could represent one of the most meaningful structural updates to the FDI classification framework in recent years. The review spans multiple regulatory layers. It includes how foreign investments are classified in listed versus unlisted companies. It also covers company-level foreign holding caps, downstream investment norms, and pricing guidelines for cross-border share transfers. All of this is being examined under the broader framework of FEMA as Non-Debt Instruments Rules 2019, the core regulations governing equity-type foreign investments into India. Today, there is a clear distinction between listed and unlisted companies. In unlisted companies, even a small foreign investment is treated as FDI. In listed companies, holdings below 10% by an individual investor are typically classified as foreign portfolio investment or FPI. Holdings of 10% or more are treated as FDI. Further, once an investment is classified as FDI, it generally continues to be treated as FDI, even if the holding later falls below the 10% threshold. This creates different regulatory consequences depending on the structure and route of investment. Because classification determines compliance requirements, reporting obligations, and monitoring, the distinction between FPI and FDI can influence how transactions are structured. In practice, investors may design transactions to remain within a particular classification bucket, not necessarily because of economic reasons, but due to regulatory treatment. The current structure therefore creates a regulatory gap between listed and unlisted entities that policymakers now appear to be reconsidering. The direction under discussion suggests moving toward a more uniform, threshold-based regime. This would mean applying comparable logic to both listed and unlisted companies, potentially reducing the sharp distinction that exists today. Such an approach would align more closely with international practice, where ownership thresholds, rather than listing status, often determine regulatory classification. The intention is to reduce distortions and improve consistency across capital markets. Another important area under review is how foreign holding caps are applied at the company level. India already has sectoral caps in many industries. However, there may be a move to clarify how companies track and manage foreign ownership levels internally. There is also discussion around empowering boards to set internal foreign holding limits, potentially below regulatory maximums, based on governance, sector sensitivity, or strategic considerations. Downstream investment norms are also part of the broader review. These rules determine how Indian entities with foreign ownership invest into other Indian companies. Changes here could focus on clarifying definitions of ownership and control and ensuring consistent treatment across layered holding structures. For groups with multi-tier investment vehicles, any rationalization in this area can significantly affect structuring logic. Pricing rules for cross-border share transfers are explicitly in scope. These guidelines affect secondary transactions, exits, buybacks, and internal restructuring. If pricing norms are rationalized alongside classification reforms, it could lead to greater predictability and reduced execution risk in cross-border equity transactions. Consistency between classification and pricing rules would strengthen overall regulatory coherence. While the reform direction is framed as easing investments, it also emphasizes improved oversight. This typically means clearer definitions, standardized reporting requirements, and stronger monitoring of beneficial ownership. Reforms often simplify structural distinctions while tightening compliance transparency. The balance between ease of doing business and regulatory vigilance remains central to the proposed reset. The ultimate impact will depend on the final design. Key questions remain: what threshold, if any, will apply to unlisted companies? Will the once FDI, always FDI approach continue? And how will the boundary between FPR and FDI align with the CBI's FPI framework? Until formal notification, these remain open issues. But the direction clearly signals movement toward greater parity between listed and unlisted investment treatment. India's proposed FDI rationalization signals a shift toward uniformity and clarity across capital markets. The final thresholds and alignment details will determine how transformative this reset truly becomes. Moonsys and Management Consultants LLP, a trusted partner for SEZ and IFSC excellence, a pioneer in establishing SEZ and IFSC units within GIFT City and India, delivering end-to-end IFSC setup. Operational support and handling compliances, risk management renowned for deep expertise in regulatory approvals, capital markets, fund management, insurance, finance company, foreign university BATF, and ancillary regulations and fintech expertise in customs clearance for aircraft and ship procurement, leasing, GST, DSPF, IFSC, comprehensive support covering registration, reporting, and regulatory transitions, ensuring ring fencing, transparency, and global compliance standards. Join our network, scan the QR codes below to stay connected with us.